How's it going, everybody? Good evening, good morning, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year to you all. I hope you all had a great Christmas. I hope you enjoyed your holidays with your family. 2023 is here, guys. What is your New Year's resolution? If it's fishing related, let me know in the comments below, because I want to know. What's my New Year's resolution? Well, first of all, I got to recover from my knee injury. I got surgery coming up soon. Second of all, man, I don't know. I really want to win first place in the tournament this year. Let's see if we can make this happen. 2023, Nelly's winning a tournament. You heard it here first on podcast number 2 of Nelly's Fishing Podcast. We're going to keep on going on the subject as last week. We're talking kayak fishing. Last week we talked about how do I get involved in kayak fishing tournaments. Today, one of the most asked questions I've seen online is how do I get started into kayak fishing? Before you buy your kayak, figure out your transportation mode. How are you going to move your kayak around from your house to the lake? Are you going to rooftop it? Are you going to put it in the bed of your pickup truck? Are you going to trailer it? Right, I did 3. Those are your 3 options. If you're going to rooftop it, I really suggest that you look into the specifications of your vehicle. What is the maximum allowed weight on the roof? If you find that you are in the clear, you buy your roof rack, and then you have to find out what is the maximum allowed weight on the roof rack. Once you have this information, you're good to go. Buy yourself some good straps, go fishing. If you want to put it in the bed of your pickup truck, what are your options? Well, you can just throw it, put the tailgate down, throw your kayak and go. That's fine. What I really recommend is buying a bed extender. What a bed extender is, it connects to the hitch of it connects to your trailer hitch. It literally extends the bed, and now the back of the kayak is not overhanging. Now you don't have the 4 or 5 feet overhang bouncing up and down the back of your pickup truck. Now this bed extender offers a platform where the back of your kayak can sit on there properly, and you could also use it as a strap down point. Option 3, which is probably the fanciest option, is get a trailer. There's a lot of videos online of guys DIYing these trailers, and they're doing an amazing job. Or if you have a little extra money laying around, you can buy a trailer. You know, brands like Malone sell kayak trailers already made, headaches free, you're done, let's go. That being said, if you're going to buy a trailer, you got to remember, you're going to have to put a trailer hitch on your car. Right? If you have an SUV, a lot of them come with trailer hitches already, or pickup trucks. Anyway, that's a different story. The next most asked question I see on the forums or on these Facebook groups are, I want to get into kayak fishing, what kayak should I buy? That is a very vague question, because you are going to get 100 different replies, and everybody's going to reply with the brand, make, and model of the kayak that they own. If you ask me what kayak to buy, everybody should have a Hobie Pro Angler 12 or 14. Why? Because I just love it. It is a great kayak. It is stable. It is roomy. It is comfortable. You could fish for 14 hours and not feel tired. It's a great kayak. But yes, it's expensive. Your first kayak. Keep in mind, budget. What is your budget? Number 2, what kind of fishing do you want to do? I guess I could say number 3 is you want pedal or paddle. My personal recommendation, if you're going to get into kayak fishing, buy a paddle kayak first. It may sound crazy, because sometimes when you're asking these questions in the Facebook groups, a reply that shows up really often is buy your second kayak first. I remember when I did that question in the Facebook group, I didn't know what that meant. I never been on a kayak. So I don't know what my first kayak is. How am I going to know what my second kayak is going to be? Yes, this is correct. You probably should get your second kayak first. But what if you don't like it? What if you decide you don't like kayak fishing? So my recommendation to you, set yourself a budget of $1,500. This is just for the kayak, by the way. $1,500 for a kayak. buy a paddle kayak. Why? A paddle kayak will teach you boat control. It will teach you how to control your boat and fish at the same time, right? It is more challenging than what it sounds like, and it's probably the biggest reason why most of us went to a paddle kayak. There are guys out there, not only in the tournament circuit, but just doing fun fishing, that are killing it on paddle kayaks. Paddle kayaks are not out of style. Paddle kayaks are still a really important piece of this puzzle. Right, I'm going to give a shout out to my buddy Tyler. Killing the game. He does great in the tournaments. He does great when he's fun fishing. He is a diehard paddler and strong too. Faster than a lot of us on the pedals. So like I was saying, a paddle kayak will teach you boat control when fishing in the wind, fishing in current. It is a whole different animal, and I think it's a skill that a lot of us need to know, because you're always paying attention to what's happening around you, and that is very important for safety when on the lake. A few kayak recommendations, if I were to tell you, I'm gonna go with the Old Town Topwater 120. Old Town is a great company. You can't beat their warranty on the hull, which is a lifetime warranty. There is the Wilderness Attack 120, Wilderness Attack 140, Bonafide SS 127. I know there's a lot of popular brands out there. I just can't think of the top of my head right now. But New Canoe, Hobie, they're all pedal drive, but you could look into a Compass or a Outback. You know, there's still this thing about Hobie is that it's an expensive brand, so maybe you can find a used one online. Anyway, at this point, when you have your kayak, you're gonna decide, is kayak fishing for me, right? And this is something that I bring up. I'm bringing it up today again, because I've had a couple people tell me, look, man, like, I bought my first kayak. I don't know if I can do this. This is actually a lot of work. It's tiring. You know what? Nothing good is easy in life. And take it from me, like, I'm a bigger dude. People don't expect me to be on the water for 12 hours fishing. Usually people expect me to get tired fast. And I've had people compliment me about how long I stay out in the water. Or when I used to paddle, how strong of a paddler I was. Yes, it's not easy, but it's super rewarding. And you know what? At the end of the day, when you're done fishing after a long 12-hour day, you're going to get off that lake. You're going to load your kayak on your car, and you're going to say, man, that was a great day. Today was a good day. One thing I got to bring out is another question that gets asked a lot in these Facebook groups. I am a big guy. What kayak should I buy? I am 6'5". I weigh 275 pounds. Is there a kayak good for big guys? Yeah, there is. Take it from me. I'm a big guy myself. Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell you. Don't get intimidated. All these big brands, kayaks, they have a really high weight rating, right? Obviously, if your body weight and your gear weight gets close to the limit of the kayak, you might want to consider getting something bigger. I'll give you an example. I forgot right now. I think it's the Hobie Compass. Has a weight limit of 300 pounds. If you weigh 270 pounds, and then you add your fishing gear, which is going to be anywhere between 30 and 50 pounds, depends how much you carry. If you're a minimalist, okay, cool. But if you're someone like me that carries 12 fishing rods at all time, plus your tackle boxes, battery, fish finders, anchoring system, whatever, then your gear gets really heavy. So if that's the case, maybe that's not the right kayak for you. Another point, we're talking about Hobies. My Hobie Pro Angler has a weight limit of 500 pounds in its total. But there's a catch. The Hobie Vantage seat has a weight limit of 350 pounds. Okay, so that's something you have to keep in mind. Also, a Hobie Outback, the Compass for that matter, their seats have a weight limit of 270 pounds. Right, so always keep these things in mind, especially if, let's say, you're going to be you can stand up and fish on these kayaks. What happens when you come down? It's not 270 pounds coming down that seat. There's There's gravity, inertia coming down, so your weight multiplies. Okay, so keep these things in mind, right? So what I'm trying to say, if you're a big dude like me, don't get intimidated. My first kayak was a Old Town Predator MX. It was a great kayak. I loved it. It made me fall in love with kayak fishing. I do not regret it one single bit. The Old Town Predator had a weight limit of 425 pounds. I knew that with my body weight and my gear, I still had space to play around. So I knew it was good. If you go on the websites, you can look up kayak specifications and you will see all this information there. So for my big fellas, you can do it. So we figured out transportation. We figured out what kind of kayak you want. Then you got to figure out what gear do you need to get started. Number 1, a paddle. Guys, do not cheap out on a paddle. It is a very common thing I see happen all the time, where a guy goes and buys a nice kayak and then buys an $80 paddle from Cabela's. I cannot stress enough. Invest your money in a good paddle. A good paddle goes a long way. Why? It is lighter, there is less fatigue, and you can actually move faster and more efficient. So a good paddle goes a long way. A good paddle will run you around $200 or more, right? Like, these things get really fancy. This hobby gets really expensive real quick. But I'm telling you, invest money in a good paddle. And then a good life vest, a good PFD, a good paddling PFD. Yes, you can get a life vest from, Canadian Tire, those normal life vests that people wear on boats. And you can use that. But after a day of paddling, the life vest rubbing underneath your arms, it's going to get uncomfortable. It's going to cause you a rash. It's going to get hot. These PFDs that are meant for fishing, meant for paddling, actually have mesh on the sides, right? So when you're doing that motion of paddling, you are not rubbing against them. There's also those inflatable PFDs. You can use those too. Just don't fall in the water by accident, because then it'll just deploy by itself, and then you got to reload it. So a good PFD. Again, a good PFD will run you around $200 as well. Me, myself, I have the NRS Chinook. It is a great PFD. I recommend it for everybody. If you're looking for a store to buy PFDs, obviously I'm going to recommend you my dealership. And I say my dealership because it's the dealership where I bought my kayak, which is Full Marine in Etobicoke. You could also look up Mountain Equipment Co. Sale has a good selection of PFDs. Right? Now with your PFD, you want to carry a safety knife. The safety knife clips onto your PFD. Why do you need a safety knife? As a commercial says for one of these knives, and I'm not even joking, one side is for cutting, the other side is for spreading cream cheese on your toast, and I'm not even joking because that's what the commercial says. But avoid using it for cream cheese. You want a good safety knife because let's say you flip your kayak, because it can happen and it will happen eventually. And somehow, your rods, your gears all floating in the water, you're in the water, and your leg gets wrapped in braid, and your fishing rod is stuck between a rock or a log. So now you have your leg stuck. That's what your knife is for. Pull out your knife, cut that braid, and you're free. So get yourself a good knife. You want to get yourself a 360 light. This 360 light is there for low visibility hours. If you get on the water half an hour before sunrise or stay on the water half an hour after sunset, you want that light on. With that light, you want a flag. This flag is so people can see you on the water, especially boaters. There is a lot of distracted people on the water. I think we all have a story of a close call on the water. I'm going to tell you guys quickly a close call right now. I was fishing Lake Simcoe. I was actually fishing a tournament. I was close to some docks. I was flipping under the docks. All of a sudden, I hear a boat roaring behind me. This guy was maybe, 2 200 feet behind me. I just hear the roaring of this engine, you know. I turn around. What do I see? They're tubing. He's driving his boat, tubing. Both the driver of the boat and his spotter are looking back. He's not even looking forward. He's looking back. What do? I start panicking. I reel in my line quickly. I start pedaling into shore. I want to get into shore behind the dock because I see this boat coming at me and he's coming in quick. Thankfully, when he was pretty close, I was clear from danger. But then I see his spotter turns around and taps the driver on the shoulder. I was like, "Hey, dude." And then the driver looks up and he's like, "Oh, oh crap. Let's go to the gas of the boat. Like, let's go to the throttle." At that point, he looks at me and I'm looking at him. I was so angry. Like, I was so angry because what he did was just straight up stupid. He should be looking forward. The spotter's looking back. Not both of you looking back. I looked at him. I raised my arms at him like this. I'm like, "Hey, man, like, what the hell?" What was he going to say? Oh, he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, buddy." And then he waved his hand and left. And I know. A flag, in an example like this, a flag is not going to help you because the guy wasn't looking. But a lot of time happens where people are dressed, and it's not on purpose, but some of us dress in a way that we camouflage with the background of the lake. I could be looking at the shoreline, talking on the phone with my buddy. I'm like, "Hey, man, where are you?" "Oh, I'm like right in front of you, 12 o'clock. I don't see you at all. You're camouflaged." A flag is very important, guys. If you don't have a flag, you could wear a really bright shirt. I'm going to give a shout out again to Mixig Outdoors. He makes these sun shirts that are very visible, high-vis colors. Also going to give a shout out to Skull Gear. I'm a team member of Skull Gear. They also make some really good colors. Put on some bright clothes, guys. It's not about looking cool. It's about staying safe. So besides that, you also want to get a safety kit. You probably see these safety kits at Walmart, Canadian Tire, Sale, Bass Pro. They go on sale for like $12 sometimes. In this kit, there's a rope with a float at one end. There's a flashlight. Always make sure your flashlight works. It needs to be working. Get in the habit of checking your flashlight every other week. There's a whistle and there's a bail bucket. And the lid of the bucket has a reflective tape. So if for some reason you're stranded, you could use that reflective tape to like reflect it against the sun. And you're causing this flash so people can see you, right? Now, what to wear? I was saying these high-vis shirts, they are sun protection shirts. They are very light, very breathable, so you don't feel hot and you don't get sunburn. I avoid wearing sunscreen while fishing. 1, the smell. 2, the oils. I don't want to get them all over my lures and my gear. So I wear a sun protection shirt, sun protection pants, sun protection gloves, a hat, sunglasses, and a buff. And I usually use the buff to cover all the way up to my nose under my glasses, so I'm not getting sunburned. Now for your feet, I use water shoes. In the spring or in the fall when the water's a little colder, you want to get neoprene boots. You get them at Mountain Equipment Co. They have their own brand, or you could order them through NRS. The NRS, I believe they're called the Boundary boots. So this is the stuff you probably want to wear when fishing. Let's see what else I forgot here in my notes. Okay, how are you going to carry your gear around? The simplest and the cheapest way of carrying your fishing gear around is with a milk crate. You can look up videos on YouTube. People modify these milk crates like you have no idea. Get yourself a milk crate. Sometimes they're in the back of the grocery stores and piled up. Ask the manager, they'll let you take one. Home Depot sells them for like $8. Buy 3 rod holder tubes or PVC pipes if you want to get a little DIY. Bolt them on to the milk crate, and there you go. When I first started, I bolted up 5. Then I quickly started buying more rods. Now my crate has 10, 12, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 rod holders on it. If you don't want to get a milk crate, you want to get an actual fishing crate, Look up Yak Attack, has a black pack. You can look up Hobie, has the H crate. Wilderness Systems has their own crate. Jackson has their own crate. So there's a lot out there to pick from. What else? Always keep your cell phone charged. You never know. You need to make that emergency phone call. So yeah, so this is like the basic stuff you need to get started. Yes, it is a lot. It sounds like a lot. Yes, it gets expensive. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. Now, I did say I did recommend a paddle kayak first. What if you want to skip it? What if you're that guy that wants to buy your second kayak first? Now look into pedal kayaks, okay? Now what do you pick? Mirage drive versus propel drive. The propel drive is like a bicycle. The propeller, turning. It's great for speed, but it picks up weeds a lot. It's churning, right? Even if you're not fishing in a weedy area, if there's like garbage and weeds floating around in open water, you will pick those up, and you find yourself putting your drive up and clearing it out pretty often. Now the Mirage drive. Yes, it is a little slower, in my opinion, especially for a big guy like me. It is a little more comfortable to pedal because it's not a full pedal like a bicycle. It's more like a pump back and forth. It is a very comfortable motion. It is very soft in the knees. It is more efficient around weeds. You will not get caught up on weeds like the propel does, right? It doesn't suck up the weeds. It pushes the weeds out of the way because it's two fins moving side to side. So therefore, I like it a lot more. If the only time that I really have to clear out my drive is if I'm fishing in like really thick weed areas where I can feel it that, you know what, my drive feels a little heavy right now. Let me check it out. I pull out the drive, clear it out, let it go. But for the most, you can push your Mirage drive through lily pads, through a certain amount of hydrilla. It goes through the weeds pretty good. So a paddle kayak is a good option, but just keep in mind it will cost you more. Let's see, another question I see asked a lot. What do you guys use to leash down your fishing rods? Yeah, you can put rod leashes on your rods if you want. The only thing I feel that I personally do not use them, I don't think they are needed. Yes, if you flip your kayak, your rods will fall. It is a risk I run every day. But the rod leashes can just cause a tangled mess. So if you're reaching behind you to grab a fishing rod, and all of a sudden you're tangled up, you are wasting more time untangling these rods and tangling these leashes than you are that maybe the wind is pushing you to a section of the lake where you shouldn't be. Maybe it's pushing you onto a boat lane or whatever, right? It's pushing you against someone's dock and they're not going to like it, against someone's boat. It's a lot to hassle with the leashes, in my opinion. If you want, you can put those, they sell these foam floats you can attach to your fishing rods. You can do that too, because then if your rod falls, it floats, right? It is a little bulky. I don't like it personally, so I just don't leash any of my rods. Knock on wood, I haven't dropped a rod yet. I've been kayak fishing for 5 years now. Going on 5 years, since 2018. I have not dropped a rod. I have not flipped. Yeah, my day is coming. It happens to all of us. But it's still, I'm still going strong. But yeah, guys, I really hope this information helped you out. If you're looking to buy your first kayak, if you do, send me a message. Send me a picture of that kayak. I want to see what you got. And I hope you catch a new PB. I hope it takes you to new places where you never thought it would. I hope you get addicted to this amazing sport of kayak fishing. And I want to thank you all for watching this video. I want to thank everybody that is listening to this podcast on Spotify. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for subscribing. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.